I have a confession. Despite the title, I actually haven't really been using quest boards in my campaign, but I think that has been a massive mistake, and I'm hoping to prevent that happening to you. My recent campaigns have been a lot more focused on kind of a more linear story arc where I'm very open to the players kind of breaking where the direction that line is facing towards. They have a lot of agency and all of that. But it really is about there's this looming threat or they need to go collect these things. It's very clear. Go to X location. There's this one big overarching quest. And while that's how I've been recently running my campaigns, in this current campaign, I'm going back to this quest board method. When I think about my earliest campaigns, and I've come a long way as a DM, but my earliest campaigns did have these quest boards. My first homebrew campaign was the players were basically they're in a guild and the guild gave them quests. And that's what it was. That was the campaign. And it was a ton of fun, even though it sounds very simple. As long as you tell the players that's the kind of game you're going to be running, a lot of the times the player characters they'll make are there to adventure just to adventure. It's not they're trying to save the world necessarily. They have characters that are there to go on quests and they get to go just see the world. So much is happening. And there's a lot of really, really cool things that can come from that you might not expect. The first of those is the quests themselves can generate plot hooks. Yes, you need plot hooks for the quests, although sometimes you don't. You just need a very vague description of goblin camp needed to be exterminated. It doesn't need to be a strong quest hook because the quest board itself is kind of the quest hook, but that's not where I'm going with this. Let's use that goblin camp example. Let's say the players go and they eliminate these goblins. As they're looting the goblin camp, seeing if there's anything to salvage, maybe there is someone who's kidnapped and there's a bigger goblin operation, or maybe there's a note talking about another goblin camp or a plan to attack the city. Maybe there's just a dead body with a note in it or a journal that talks about, I don't know, they have this buried treasure or a family heirloom. Essentially, you can have this one quest have a bunch of other plot hooks built into it. And that kind of gives the players other quest options. So next time they go back to the quest board, they're thinking, do we take one of these quests? Do we follow up on one of these quests that aren't on the quest board? And then the players have, I don't know, like 5, 6, 7, 8 different quest options. And the beauty of this is the players get to choose what sounds the most fun, and they will let you know what sounds the most fun. And I think that's why quest boards work so well. It takes a little bit of the pressure off you as the DM of choosing what you think your players will have the best time with. They will tell you. They will look at those 8 different options and say, this one seems the best. This one excites us the most. A little game mastering trick for this, I wouldn't have the players go up to the quest board, look at these 5 plus, 3 plus different options, and then tell you which one you're going to go or they're going to go on, and you have to have them all prepped. I would have them run an adventure, and at the end of the session, go look at the quest board, and then choose what they're going to do. So then you only have to prep one of them at a time. It makes it way easier. You don't want to prep every single quest option because one of them or 2 of them or 3 of them or a lot of them, they just might have no interest in. Now, from the gameplay loop perspective, that is amazing. This game just keeps rolling perfectly. Here's the beautiful thing with this. Eventually what will happen with these kind of plot hooks built into these other quests, you'll notice your players get very attached to one of these. They'll start to get passionate. Like they took out this goblin camp and something about it just really ticked them off. They're like, God, I hated that goblin leader. Drove me insane. And then there's a quest to go deal with another goblin camp. And maybe they're just all over that because that goblin leader pissed them off so much. They just want to keep doing these. Then after that goblin leader, they might go to the next camp. And that goblin leader pisses them off even more. And they find that this goblin operation isn't ran by goblins, it's ran by hobgoblins. And there's this whole secretive structure going on here and a big plot to attack this or accomplish this goal. You'll notice the players start to get really invested in that. And they want to keep following this quest chain. At that point, the quest board can go to the sidelines. And now you have the core of your campaign. You have what your players really care about. And then your story can absolutely take off from there. This is how I think the best campaigns develop. You know, you'll watch Critical Role and stuff. They're professional storytellers, professional voice actors. But if you want a very compelling story at your table, you genuinely need to make your characters really care about what's going on here. And you as the game master, you can't do that. Like you can put the seeds of things that you hope they care about, but you can't force them to care about something. And what's going to happen in practice, they're going to care about the most random thing. Even if you have this perfect story arc, they're going to just care about this one NPC, going to care about him and his family, and they're just going to be invested in that. If you have this whole line of story already planned out, they're not linked. There's not in alignment with what the players want and what the story wants. So have the story go with what the players want. And you can just double down onto that and have this cohesive story that stems from no cohesive story at all in the form of quest boards. Really, the quest board is just planting seeds for the players to latch onto, water, and nourish. And eventually, they're going to pick one of those and just run with it. That is my absolute favorite thing about quest boards in terms of the practicality of running a campaign. But there's another thing they do that it just makes a world of difference. Quest boards allow your players to go see a bunch of different parts of the world that aren't connected. This is world building. I don't like calling it world building. I think of it more as lore building because really what world building is, it is a collection of stories bundled into one bigger picture. And that's just a bunch of different pieces of lore that you clump it up into a ball, and here is your world. It doesn't have to be geography. I'll probably make a video on this later, but quest boards allow for you to do that lore building. They let you go deal with the goblin camp. They let you go deal with the church. They let you go deal with the knights. They let you go to the wizards. They let you go to all of these different places and they don't need to be connected. Your players just get a lot more exposure for these different elements of the world. And it makes it feel more real and it makes it feel more alive. I don't have too much more to say on that. I think it's pretty straightforward, but I do want to emphasize in practice, it's beautiful. It's one of those things that is very small. You don't notice it, but really it just makes everything feel more alive in your world. Now, if you want to actually see this in practice, my first homebrew setting had this, and it wasn't because I came up with it. It was because my first game that I really ran was Dragon of Icefire Peak. If you've heard of it or ran it, you know what I'm talking about. For those of you who haven't, the big picture of Dragon of Icefire Peak, there's this dragon threat that is going to most likely or most certainly attack the village. The players pretty much just need to get stronger to hopefully fight off that threat. And there's a quest board that has very clear rewards. It'll say this much gold, and that goes up as the players get levels. It might also say, yeah, or it might not even directly say on the quest card, but as they talk around about the quest or in the quest description, it might say there's this secret sword that is specialized against dragons. And that is very good incentive for the players to do that if they're trying to kill a dragon. It is a fantastic starter adventure if you made it this far. And honestly, you don't need to be a beginner. If you're a beginner, it's fantastic for you. Even if you're a veteran, just to see what a quest board can do, it's really just a fantastic adventure. I'm sure you can find stuff about it online too, if you just want to see someone else running the game and see these quest cards. It's honestly another good idea is if you want to like for your homebrew games, making quest cards and giving your players, if you run in person, it's a fantastic thing to do. And that's pretty much it. If you're already in an existing campaign, it's a little difficult to just throw quest boards into it. You really need to have the players make characters that are adventurers. Because if the players' characters are looking to save the world or have this other mission in mind, and they can have like their side missions and stuff, but if their means of making a living is doing these quests, that instantly gives buy-in to this gameplay loop of going back to the quest boards when nothing's happening. So really, you do kind of need to do this out of the gate. But for those of you who are starting a brand new campaign, I would highly recommend having in that session 0, tell your players, make adventurers. There's going to be a quest board, and every session or every handful of sessions, you'll be able to pick a quest from that quest board. And that is it for this one, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.